Identity takes shape in so many interesting ways, and it can block your happiness. It can increase your success. It can do all kinds of things for you. And we're going to dive deeper into that today.
Identity formation, part 2. Let's get into it.
Do you find yourself losing control of your scroll on social media?
If you do, then you want to stay tuned to join the Simply Social Club with Kay and I.
We've got an awesome challenge for you where you have the opportunity to detox from social media for 48 hours, 7 days, 14, or even 31 days right along Shyla and I.
So go to kayandshy.com/simplysocial and find out a little bit more, and hopefully you'll take a pledge alongside us. We'll see you in 2023.
See you in the club.
You're enjoying this episode on Angel Phoenix Productions Podcast Network. To explore a complete lineup of quality programs and media production services, head on over to angelphoenix.com or like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Angel Phoenix Productions.
All right, so a couple of weeks ago, we were up in Brookings, Oregon. We had the opportunity to do something really fun. We got to go roller skating.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And as soon as we got there, I had forgotten how often I used to go roller skating just as a kid and with our dad. It was something we did a lot. So it was kind of funny leading up to it. I kept saying, I don't think I'm going to skate.
Oh, yeah. Shyla kept being like, I'm definitely not going to skate.
I still think I'm going to skate. And then we get there, I'm like, I'll skate. And then I tore it up.
She tore it up. She's like all the way. And we talked about this for days. She's like, I'm not going to do it. And she gets out there. She's like crisscrossing and passing people and doing, but it was good because our dad is at the point now where he cannot skate. It's just too rough on his knees, but he loves skating. And so I felt like he got to live vicariously through you.
I skated for dad.
It was tough for his identity as a good skater to not be able to skate in that moment. He did a good job of managing his emotions, but it was interesting to see him getting squeezed at the bump of that identity.
Right. Well, speaking of identities around roller skating, you had a really interesting experience as well at the roller rink. How long had it been since you'd put on roller skates?
Oh man, probably a decade or more. I don't think I've put on roller skates since I was a teenager, but roller skating is not something that I've ever necessarily been naturally good at. Physical coordination has never been my natural strong suit. Maybe this is just an identity piece that's coming forward. But I've been more of someone who excels when it comes to mental and verbal and spiritual exercises versus physical things. And so roller skating is not something that I've ever really been good at. But when I was younger, being bad at roller skating really stung. Like it hurt to get out there and be wobbly. And it took me an hour to even feel a modicum of confidence on the roller skating rink. And I felt like everybody was watching me and everybody was laughing at me and I just sucked at it. And oftentimes what would happen is we would have a class field trip to Roller Kingdom here in Reno, and I would get out and I would skate for 15 minutes. I would feel so ashamed at my terribleness that I would end up leaving the rink.
And, I was going to, as you were telling this story and kind of talking about it, I was thinking, you go to the roller skating rink kind of a lot when you're a kid. Like it's a hot place for birthday parties. And I know that because I have kids. So now they get invited to the roller rink. And
at least here in Reno.
Yeah. Like the 6th grade skate night was a big deal for our middle schoolers. So it's definitely something that's around in childhood, and having that identity around that can mean that something that's supposed to be fun for those who say, oh, I'm good at roller skating, or I am the kind of person that enjoys this activity. It would start to induce, anxiety for you and not be an experience that you would look forward to. But all of these days leading up to the roller skating in Brookings, in fact, I think you're the one that brought it forward.
Yeah.
You were like, hey, there's a roller rink in Brookings. We should go. And you never had any moment of emotion about it leading up to it. And then we get there and we put on the skates and there goes Kay out there wobbling away, kind of awkward and off balance, but doing it with a smile on her face and truly having fun. And honestly, it was a joy to watch.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And what's interesting about this shift is that as a young person, my identity was really formed around being naturally good at a few things. And I think a lot of people with a couple of natural talents have this happen, right? You excel in a few areas and then you think, if I'm not just good at something inherently, then I'm bad. It sucks. It's no fun. I'm unworthy. I can't do it right. So I didn't excel in this area of skating. And as a kid, I attached that to my identity and said, well, then therefore that means that I am bad and I am not worthy. I can't do this. I need to leave the rink. But now I've consciously created an identity, and I've worked really hard over the last 6 years in particular at creating a person that I'm proud of. And there's a lot of work to go. Don't you worry. But in this case, that I've created an identity as someone who can enjoy the process of sucking, because I know that the journey and the experience is fun, right? I started weightlifting in 2018, right after the birth of my daughter, and I sucked at gym stuff, just like sucked so bad. But I had fun being in the community and figuring it out and learning new things and being a part of it. And so it reinforced this identity set of someone who at least tries and enjoys the journey. And man, I tried and I enjoyed that 2 hours of skating that we did. And it was just absolutely a delight. And no, I never got better. I sucked just about the entire time.
Well, I love that you brought that story and example forward. And it's helpful for, I think, for all of us to just process that we can install that new identity that says, I enjoy the process of learning. I am a person who likes to try new things, and allow that to be the narrative rather than I am embarrassed of my skating, or I am unworthy of being on the skate rink because I'm not good at it. So thank you for being vulnerable, for sharing your roller skating story. And we look forward to joining you on the final mini-sode here in the Identity Week on the Kay and Chai Show.
This podcast was a production of Angel Phoenix Productions. Explore more episodes of this show or other great shows on the Angel Phoenix Podcast Network by visiting angelphoenix.com. The views expressed in this show do not necessarily represent those of Angel Phoenix Productions or its advertisers, and may contain language that's unsuitable for younger listeners.